Hello, my name is Dwayne Dortch, and I'd like to welcome you to another edition of our video series on EdgeWorkers. In this video, we'll show you how to get started debugging your EdgeWorkers code. Let's start with the standard debug headers. An HTTP header is a field of an HTTP request or response that passes additional context and metadata about the response or request. For example, we commonly use request headers in a request for media content, for example, to indicate the preferred media format, while a response header can be set to indicate the media format of the return body. Since EdgeWorkers are based on HTTP requests and response events, we can use headers to pass information about their execution. And we do this through Akamai Pragma headers. Here's a list of Akamai Pragma headers that, if set during the EdgeWorker request, will return important information about the execution of the EdgeWorker. The link to this information in the EdgeWorker documentation is included in the description below. Let's take a look at a few of these debug headers in action using the Hello World EdgeWorker we created in a previous video. One way to set request headers is using a browser plugin like ModHeader. Let's take a look at how I've set the Pragma header in ModHeader. You can see that my Pragma header includes Akamai X EW Debug, which returns debug information for the 4 main EdgeWorker event types. Also Akamai X EW Debug Subs, which returns status information on all event handlers when an HTTP sub request is made. And Akamai X EW Debug RP, which returns information about the execution of the response provider event handler. Now let's review our Hello World EdgeWorker. As you can see, this EdgeWorker includes 2 events: the onClient request event, which logs a message and returns some HTML output, and the onClient response event, which also logs a message and sets a response header. Now let's execute this EdgeWorker and examine the output. When I make a request to my EdgeWorker page, I can examine the response headers on the Network tab of DevTools. As I select the Hello World request, I can see the resulting response headers in the header section. The Akamai X EW Debug header shows the results of the 2 events that were called in the EdgeWorker. There's a response header for both the onClient request event and the onClient response event. And that information includes the EdgeWorker ID, the version number, the EdgeWorker name, and the execution status, which is success in this case. Also note the X Hello World response header that was set in the onClient response function of the EdgeWorker. You can also execute your EdgeWorker from the command line using the curl command. And in this example, I'm passing the Pragma header using the -H flag of the curl command. And we can see the resulting output. So as you can see, Akamai EdgeWorker Pragma headers allows us to obtain important information about the execution of our EdgeWorkers. Be sure to check out the next video on enhanced debug headers that allow you to obtain even more debug information. Thanks for watching. See you next time.